Good morning, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to the House Economic Matters Committee. Today is Wednesday, March 31st, 2021. We have 9 bills before us on voting list number 20. We will start with House Bill 584, Delegate Watson, I believe.
Yes. This bill is a cross file of Senate Bill 508, which we have in our possession. The amendment in your packet conforms the language to that of the House bill. The bill as it came in would have raised the, for joint projects, would have raised the net metering cap to be 5 megawatts. With the amendments in the Senate, they keep it at 2 megawatts unless you've got 2 contiguous properties where the net metered solar energy generating facilities are intended solely for use by local government. And the total capacity doesn't exceed 5 megawatts for that combination. And if the property was subdivided, it wasn't subdivided for the purpose of getting around the 2 megawatt cap. Also, it excludes those facilities that are in a region served by an electric co-op or a muni.
Those are the Senate amendments for 508 to go on to 584?
Correct.
Okay, so we need...
Move the amendments.
Second.
Moved and seconded for a favorable, no, moved and seconded on the amendment. All in favor. Well, are there any questions on the amendment? Let me do that. If not, all in favor signify by aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, nay.
Move the bill as amended.
Second.
Let me do this as well. My guess is it's going to be the same vote. So the vote for House Bill 584 would also constitute the vote for Senate Bill 508 because they are now identical. Now, any discussion on 584? If not, Madam Vice Chair.
Yes.
Delegate Brooks.
Aye.
Delegate Fisher.
No.
Delegate Queen.
Yes.
Delegate Turner. Is Delegate Turner with us? All right, Delegate Turner is excused. Delegate Rogers.
Yes.
Delegate Carey.
Yes.
Delegate Jackson.
Yes.
Delegate Pippy.
No.
Delegate Mounts.
No.
Delegate Wilson.
Yes.
Delegate Impalaria. Is Delegate Impalaria with us? All right, Delegate Impalaria is excused. Delegate Branch.
Yep.
Delegate Valderrama.
Aye.
Delegate Walker.
Yes.
Delegate Chi.
Yes.
Delegate Adams.
No.
Delegate Arentz.
No.
Delegate Fennell is excused. Delegate Charkoudian.
Yes.
Delegate Howard.
No.
Delegate Crosby.
Yes.
And Delegate Watson.
Yes.
Again, for the record, that vote is for 584 and Senate Bill 508.
That's a favorable with amendment for 584 and a straight favorable on 508.
Correct. My apologies.
Just to make sure the record is clear.
All right. House Bill 1262.
House Bill 1260. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Nope.
Where we left off at yesterday was we were waiting for Delegate Miles to get his amendments.
Yes, and we have received his amendments. So Delegate Mouse's amendments make a number of changes to the bill. I don't know, do you want to speak to them, Delegate Mouse? Or do you want me to explain them?
I think it's probably better if you explain them.
Okay, so the amendments allow locals to issue or revoke a license. The bill, as introduced, changes the sort of framework for regulation so that the state would be issuing licenses. Locals would be able to issue registrations. So Delegate Mounts' amendments changes that back to still allow locals to issue or revoke a license. His amendments also remove the phase out of local licensing. There had been a period in which the licenses would need to be switched over to registrations. So he's removed that. And then the bill contains a job site requirement that we discussed at a previous voting session, which requires a licensed master or journey person to be at a work site in which electrical services are being provided. So Delegate Mounts' amendments remove that job site requirement. Just sort of for context, there are 3 other amendments in the packet, 2 from Delegate Adams and 1 from Chair ECM. The Chair ECM amendments reflect one of Delegate Adams' set of amendments, which the subcommittee approved. The only difference being there's a technical amendment that was added in with the Chair ECM amendments. The subcommittee approved essentially the bill as introduced with a work group that would have to look at how the low voltage industry is regulated. And it would require the General Assembly to consider legislation that the work group recommends. So it's a lot. So let me know if you have any questions about sort of where things are.
Good. Delegate Mounts?
Chairman, thank you, and colleagues, I just want to thank you for your patience. I apologize for slowing the process down on the bill. And I just want to explain the amendments that I'm offering have come to me through my local electrical board. They're pretty frustrated right now because they weren't able to participate in the task force, and they've got a lot of opposition to making this transition right now. They're learning about the proposed changes as we're voting on the bill. And so the amendments are not designed to kill the bill, but it's basically a timeout so they have a chance to adapt. With regard to the issuing of licenses, it would preserve their authority. And then there's also the second portion of the amendment that deals with the job site requirements. In areas where journeymen are licensed, that makes perfect sense. In other areas, there's 5 counties currently that have the provisions of this bill in place. In our district, those provisions are not in place. So there are a lot of practicing electricians who have employees who are qualified as journeymen, but they have not licensed as journeymen. And then to put this into effect right now, they don't feel they could comply and get everyone registered and licensed in order to meet the requirements of the bill while they're trying to complete the work that's before them right now, which is sort of what they're seeking. And the idea is that by doing these amendments, it would at least give them a little bit of time to adjust and better understand what the requirements are as the laws change and the regulations change. Thank you for your patience.
Delegate Crosby?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I guess mine goes really to when we talk about the bill. So if this, I'm not on the amendment, support the amendment, but I'm not, I can wait until we talk about the bill.
Delegate Chi, what about you? Are you on the amendment or the bill?
Yes, I'm on the amendment. My question
Okay.
is to Delegate Mounts. So I thought all the counties are on board and Mako is on board. That was why I was comfortable supporting it, because I knew Montgomery County was on board 2 years ago. So are you saying your county is not on board?
No, I'm saying my electrical board. I'm not sure if my county, we've got a county representative who serves on Mako, and she's aware of the bill. But as far as the county council, I don't have a letter. I don't have anything from my county officially on this bill. And the comment after the last discussion about the bill was that my county board didn't understand the bill. And so I had my board speak with a participant in the task force who's actually a county council member in another county. And after that discussion, the representative from my board explained to me that the argument was made that my board didn't understand the bill. And they told me that the proponents don't understand the bill. So there definitely is not a meeting of the minds within the trade from the representatives that I've spoken to.
That's interesting. Okay. Thank you.
Delegate Charcuti.
Mr. Chair, my question is sort of on the bill, but it would help me to know how to consider Delegate Moutz's amendments. So if it's okay,
Sure.
I could try asking it now if you want to hold it. So maybe this is a question to council. It was my understanding that what the bill, like if we just go back to the bigger picture of what the bill does, I know that there's nuances in the specifics, but that right now we don't have a licensing around electricians. We have sort of regulations about what's required, I think, within DOL, but it's not officially a licensing within state statute. And what this does is it takes a lot of those same regulations that have been operational or guides that have been operational, and it formally puts them into statute as a licensing. Is that, do I have that part right?
So sort of.
Okay.
So the state has a master electrician license that acts as a passport to, if someone has that, then they can, it sort of means that they can meet the requirements in a local jurisdiction to get the local license. But really it's locally driven. So a lot of people have multiple, I think there are 22 jurisdictions that issue the master licenses, and then only 5 issue journey person, and we don't know how many issue apprentice. So what this was designed to do is sort of shift the focus of regulation a little bit more to the state, so that there's a state license and a state journey person and a state apprentice license. So there'd be 3 state licenses. The locals would retain their authority to have a registration requirement. That was put in because initially years ago, there was a lot of pushback to the bill that locals did not want to give up their authority to regulate. So they would still have the ability to have a registration requirement. It just wouldn't be a license requirement. And so the bill phases out the local licenses, and the locals would have to switch them to a registration if they wanted to keep a credential of some sort. But it establishes, I mean, the bill has a lot in it. In addition, it sets up a state electrical code. There's no state code. So it does that. It sets up a continuing education requirement for journeys and apprentices. So, I mean, it sort of reworks the whole thing, but I believe the main argument the proponents make for the bill is switching it so that it's a little bit more standardized across the state with the 3 state licenses.
Okay, so that's very helpful. That was sort of more or less my understanding, but that was definitely helpful clarifying. So I guess then my second question is to Delegate Mounts about your amendments. So is the concern locally that you have a licensing requirement that this would override, or that there's not local licensing for these 3 areas, or you have probably a local licensing for master electrician, but not the other 2, and there's a concern about establishing that? I'm just trying to understand what the specific concerns are in the bigger licensing part of this, like separate from like low voltage and some of the other stuff that people have concerns about.
Yeah, so I'll use Talbot County as the example. We've got a very active very active electrical board they do rigorous enforcement, and they have a very close eye on all the electrical work that's done in the county. We have rigorous code enforcement by the county. That's backed up by the electrical board, and it's manned mostly by volunteer participation. And this work that the board does is very effective. They have a big problem in the trade when work is not done properly. It causes all kinds of problems. They have all sorts of incentives to make sure that the work that's being done, the electrical work that's being done is being done properly, and it's being and the people that are doing the work are doing what they're supposed to do, and they've enforced this very well. And they see this bill as undoing all the work that they've done to ensure that we have a solid, reliable, safe electrical trade. So they're very concerned about the changes in the bill. They were not able to participate in this work group. It was stated that Mulek was supportive of the bill, and I've had conversations. The organization Mulek has not met as an organization for over a year and a half. So it's literally impossible for them to say this is something that they support. But their concern is that they play right now to ensure that the electrical work is being done and being done properly, and the people who are licensed properly, is working very well. And you know, the rule of thumb is if something's working, don't try to fix it. And so they want to preserve their ability to do what they've been doing. And then when it's time to make a transition, I think they'll be ready to. But the idea of the amendment is just to give them a safe harbor. I know that kind of undermines the intent of the bill to create a uniform system amongst all the jurisdictions, but it preserves a little bit of time for them to be able to adapt and make some suggested changes, because they had a conversation with one of the major proponents of the bill, and clearly they don't see eye to eye about the way this is going to improve the electrical trade, at least in Talbot.
Can I just ask, so your amendment, I'm looking at it now. I hadn't really had a chance to see it before. You're saying your amendment slows this transition down, or it preserves
the authority of the local board to do what they've been doing.
So if the bill passes with your amendment, your understanding is any locals could then override the state's licensing. Is that right? You're muted.
You're muted, Delegate Mounts.
If the amendment is adopted, the county boards would be issuing licenses, and the state would also be issuing licenses. This may sound like it's in conflict.
Yeah.
The county boards that want to shift can start shifting and sending, applicants for licenses to the state. It would be a gradual thing, but it would preserve the work that's being done right now on the ground. And right now in the electrical trade, people are backed up for months with jobs because the building trades has not begun to slow down since COVID.
Okay, I think I understand. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, where the hell are, so we're on amendment. All right, is there a motion on the amendment?
Well, there's a lot of amendments. Which one are you talking about?
A lot from Delegate Mounts?
Oh, no, but I had described all of the amendments. There's 4 amendments in the packet.
All right, let's start with the subcommittee.
The chair ECM amendments are the subcommittee amendments plus a technical amendment.
Mr. Chair, I move the chairman's amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, those amendments are on. Let's do Delegate Mounts' amendment now. Is there a motion on that?
Mr. Chair, I just have one question on Delegate Mounts' amendment, because it sounds like it's a voluntary, like the way instead of being standardized, as I thought the goal was. I mean, I would understand if they're trying to just push the bill out and say, look, let's wait another year or so. It sounds like this is just going to make this a permanently voluntary thing for each jurisdiction. Am I incorrect, Laura?
So the bill as it stands with the amendments you just adopted, has a grace period for switching the licenses over to registrations. Delegate Moutz's amendment just fully restores and sort of maintains the local jurisdiction's ability to issue licenses and revoke them. And it strikes all the sort of phase in part of it because they aren't required to phase out the licenses.
And so what standard would they be? Would they be using the same standard throughout the state? Would each jurisdiction be required? I know that was another part of the issue. Would each jurisdiction be required to adopt the state standard as they would issue their licenses, or are they allowed to kind of have their own local standard under Johnny Moutz's amendment?
I need to look. I mean, so the state standard would still be the state electrical code. So in that way, you'd be switching a little bit more of the authority to the state. But the, I guess it would just sort of be dual requirements with state and local.
So you'd have to get
I mean,
more
sort
than,
of, as I understood it, it was all sort of nomenclature. Like the bill was just basically saying you can now do registrations, but you can't do licenses. So it's not exactly clear to me that just by preserving the local licenses, how that's really changing sort of the status quo that we have right now.
right.
Other than, I guess, establishing the state licenses, so you'd kind of have dual requirements.
That what it sounds like is if we pass Johnny's amendment, then we're kind of where we already are, almost like making this nullifies the whole point of the bill. That's my understanding of Johnny's amendment. And I'm not sure that.
I guess also importantly, just to circle back, Delegate Moutz's amendment strikes the worksite requirement. And also makes another change.
So while it sounds like he said he wasn't trying to kill the bill, it sounds like he's in effect killing this bill with these amendments.
I'm not prepared to say that that's
I
the
know.
case. I would need to look a little bit more at how this would work. It certainly would change. I think sort of the impetus behind the bill was to try to streamline things a little bit and put the onus more on the state to standardize. So if you have these dual licenses and retain sort of full local authority, I think that that's a little bit, you're getting a little bit less closer to that goal of standardization.
Right, and there's my concern is that we're obviously complicating the issue even more. And by even introducing this bill, we're at the status quo plus, which means we're status quo with a little more complications. When the goal was to do the dead opposite, to streamline it, put it on a state level, therefore you aren't confused by the different jurisdictions that you operated in. So I'm not really sure how this benefits the bill.
Which case, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see. Yeah. This feels like it's undoing most of the work that we've been trying to do.
So Chairman, I have a question. If there's a, so yeah, I'm not trying to, that's exact, Delegate Wilson, that there is, it does not, my amendment does not streamline the bill by any way. It preserves local authority. And so it does, it doesn't follow the intent of the bill. The idea is that if the state system is the way to go, then that's where the boards will start doing their registration. And so I don't want to try to I'm not trying to sugarcoat that. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. But also the portion about the workplace requirement. Now I've got contractors right now that can't comply and they've got work to do. And so that's a huge problem. We're telling them that you're going to have to do X, Y, and Z, and they don't have the people to do the work, but right now they do. So they're operating, they're staffed up, they're doing the work they're supposed to do. And we're about to change the rules and say, and by the way, you have to have these requirements at all your job sites. And the guys are like, Johnny, we can't do that. We're not going to be able to keep, we're going to put some jobs off. It's going to cause a huge problem for us. So that,
even with the grace period that was built in,
that's what they've told me. And that's
Johnny, that's my concern, is that this is just a poison pill on the bill because we put a grace period in. I don't mind discussing the grace period, something of that nature, give them time, which originally what I thought your amendment was trying to do. But it sounds like it's just stripping the entire bill down. And now if we pass this bill, it'll even make it more complicated as far as for them to do their jobs, because now they've got to get in line with some state stuff as well. So I'm not sure I can get behind on the amendment. It sounds like it's undoing everything we've tried to do.
I understand, but I appreciate you understanding my concerns about the bill.
Yes, sir.
Argument for the amendment.
Yes, sir.
Chair, real quick.
Let me go in order as I see it on the screen. Delegate Crosby, Charkoudian, and Aaron's.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Question for council: that Johnny Mounts or Delegate Mounts' amendment also removes having the master electrician on site while low voltage work is being conducted too, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Charkoudian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think I share the concerns that Delegate Wilson was raising, and I was wondering if Delegate Mouse, if you feel like a longer grace period or something like that might, I'm not actually sure, maybe council can tell us what the grace period currently is. I wonder if that might take care of that part of it. I understand there's other pieces to the amendment, but I do have the same concerns that Delegate Wilson raised.
I wish I could give you an answer, but I'm not an electrician. And I'm trying to do the best I can to articulate for them. If they were a part of the task force and were able to contribute, I think, we'd probably have that answered for us, I'm just the delegate. And I'd feel a lot better giving you an answer if they were here and able to say, this is what we need. They were all, shut down while this was going on, and they really, it's tough. We're in a tough spot having to make a decision right now.
You want me to respond about the grace period or just?
Please. What is the grace period?
So beginning July 1st of this year, local jurisdictions may not issue licenses. Those that had previously issued licenses before July, so no new jurisdictions could start issuing licenses this July. But the existing jurisdictions that had issued apprentice, journey, or master electrician licenses before July 1 may continue to register them according to the same rules that they had in place before July 1. And then those jurisdictions that did not previously have a local license for apprentice, journey, or masters would be able to start a registration program. Let's see.
Delegate Aaron's.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I kind of like the amendment because in my world, in real estate, we can't get people to work as it is right now, trying to get jobs done. And this bill, and I mean, a couple of my people like the bill, but I like the idea of opting into it because what we're doing is we're adding a significant cost to every job by having to go to this at this point. And if the amendment would pass, I kind of think that would give counties that actually are in line with this time to move into it at their own discretion. And you'll find out by them doing it that they are all included in the decision. They're in favor of it. I would like to see the amendment on there. I think it cleans us up and it takes the onus off of us who we are not electricians. We are not the people actually doing the job. And you'll be adding a significant cost, plus you'll be adding a significant length. If I have to get a journeyman onto a site, or if I have to get somebody else out there, as opposed to what I'm doing today, that's only going to prolong these jobs and raise the cost to the consumers who are already hurting. And I mean, not everybody hurting is doing remodeling, but sometimes when they can't afford a new home, they have to go in and do this. So I would support the amendment.
Madam Vice Chair.
I have two questions. First, I'm not sure I understood what the grace period is. When do any of these jurisdictions, what's the drop dead date where they have to be in this?
July 1st of this year at the credential, no new licenses can be issued and existing licenses are going to be reclassified as registrations.
Okay. So what are we calling a grace period? if it's July 1 of this year?
Well, I mean, if you, as I just read, it's the same. So a local that had licensed before July 1 may continue to register electricians according to the same rules and requirements for licenses issued before July 1. So as I said, it's more about just what you call the credential rather than actually changing sort of anything about the credential or the qualifications.
Okay. And then my second question is, have we heard from any other jurisdictions that this is a problem? I didn't have time to look at the
I haven't
any
heard
opposition testimony, but
no, I'm not aware of that, of any.
okay.
Anybody else? On the amendment, is there a motion? Oh, did we do that? Is there a motion and a second on the amendment?
Can I move it favorable?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by delegate, seconded by delegate Aaron's for favorable. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I'd be opposed to that amendment.
Yeah.
I'm
nay.
opposed.
No.
No.
Hold on, let me try this again, guys. If you're opposed, feel free to jump in there at any time. All those opposed?
Nay.
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 I'll do a roll call. I'll do a roll call.
Looks close.
The motion is for favorable, as favorable on the Mouse amendment. So I'll do a roll call on that one. Madam Vice Chair.
No.
Delegate Brooks. Is Delegate Brooks with us? Ben.
You're muted. You're muted.
Oh, I'm
On
sorry.
the-
No.
All right. Delegate Fisher.
Yes.
Delegate Queen.
No.
Delegate Turner.
No.
Delegate Rogers.
No.
Delegate Carey.
No.
Delegate Jackson.
No.
Delegate Pippy.
Yes.
Delegate Mouts.
Yes.
Delegate Wilson.
No.
Delegate Impalaria.
Is excused.
Excused. Delegate Branch. Is Delegate Branch there?
I don't see
All
him.
right, Delegate
He's not
Branch
here.
is excused. Delegate Valderrama.
No.
Delegate Walker.
No.
Delegate Chi.
No.
Delegate Adams.
I will support my co-delegate.
Delegate Arentz.
Yes.
Delegate Fennell.
Is excused.
Excused. Delegate Charkoudian.
Yeah, I'm no on the amendment.
Delegate Howard.
Yes.
Delegate Crosby.
Yes.
And Delegate Watson.
No.
All right, motion carries.
What?
No.
What?
motion does
I
not-
mean, I got it, trust me. Motion
Right.
fails. I never mind.
All right, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
should we consider, maybe Delegate Wilson, but should we consider an October 1st start date instead of a July 1st start date? But again,
and that's
people
what
that
I
know
was
more
gonna-
about this, I will let you decide, but
That's what I was getting ready to suggest. I want to try to, I understand Johnny's problem. I think the solution is using a sledgehammer to hammer and attack. If the issue is that, giving them time to respond to this, the other issue we have is, what level of individual do we want working on electricity in a home? And I think that on that one, it's a policy decision. If you want a master or journeyman there, that's what I supported. But if there's an issue with timeliness as far as licensing and registration, unfortunately, we've convoluted the hell out of that. So Laura, I'm probably gonna need some help explaining this on the floor. Why that, licensing versus registering, what's the difference, and why we're using even different terms. But I'm sure we'll stumble upon that later. But if we want to kick it out if you want to kick it out to October, something of that nature. Obviously, July is, very soon, almost emergency soon. I don't know that this is an emergent bill. I'm more than willing to, do an oral amendment to extend the deadline or the time. What would be considered a good time for those who have knowledge about this field? Donnie?
Yeah, I appreciate the suggestion. I don't want to feel like I'm taking liberty with the opportunity, but I would say January 1 of 2022 for.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's.
Yeah. Don't negotiate against yourself. We waited all these years, a few more months isn't gonna kill us. So January 1, so.
And
All right,
now,
Let's officially do that. Delegate Mouth, are you presenting an amendment for January, effective date of January 1, 2020?
No,
Yes, sir.
no, Mr. Chair, I was.
Fine. Delegate Mouth, are you
I'm just
seconding that?
I'll be happy to move that favorable, sir.
All right, we got a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All right, that motion carries. And
Just to clarify, so the effective date for the whole bill you want to move, or just the date where the licenses switch over to the registrations? Or
what about just the whole thing?
The
you
whole
can do the
bill.
whole thing. I'm just asking for clarification.
The whole bill.
No, I'm just asking yeah, just keep
Let's do the whole bill.
everything. Yeah.
Okay,
whole
so
bill.
I'll change all the dates to be in line with that.
Thanks,
you.
Laura.
Okay.
So do I need to do the roll call or have I done that?
I think we're good on the amendment.
You need it on the bill, right?
Okay,
Now it's, a motion favorable as amended on the bill.
got it. Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
Delegate Brooks,
Aye.
Delegate Fisher,
No.
Delegate Queen,
Yes.
Delegate Turner,
Yes.
Delegate Rogers,
Yes.
Delegate Carey,
Yes.
Delegate Jackson,
Yes.
Delegate Pippy,
Yes.
Delegate Mouts,
No.
Delegate
Bastard.
Wilson,
Yes.
Delegate Impalaria is still excused.
Now, and I'm a
you
no.
here?
I'm a
All
no.
right. Delegate Impalaria is a no. Is Delegate Branch with us?
Yep.
Delegate
My internet played out for a moment, but yes, I'm a yes.
All right. Delegate Valderrama,
Aye.
Delegate Walker,
Yeah.
Delegate Chi,
Yes.
Delegate Adams,
I'm not ready for this bill. I'm going to say no.
okay. Delegate Arentz,
Yes.
Delegate Fennell
Excused.
is excused. Delegate Charkoudian,
I'm a yes.
Delegate Howard,
Yeah.
Delegate Crosby,
Mr. Chair, this is on the entire bill?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
You bastard.
Delegate Watson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We're live streaming.
You get on me for being a hit, and here I am.
So for
I
clarity,
would
we did
ignore him
accept.
if I were you. All right, so hold on. While we're there, let's go to 762. So what do we need to do to amend that? The effective date? Is there anything else we need to do to 762?
There's an amendment in the packet that conforms it to the subcommittee with that technical amendment. So you would move the subcommittee or the chair ECM amendment and then the effective date amendment.
All right, let's move all of them. Is there on those amendments?
Yes. Move favorable as amended.
Is there a second?
Vote on the amendments. Move the amendments.
All right, all in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, nay. All
Now
right.
move the bill as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded for favorable as amended to House Bill 762. Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
Delegate Brooks,
Aye.
Delegate Fisher,
No.
Delegate Queen,
Yes.
Delegate Turner,
Yes.
Delegate Rogers,
Yes.
Delegate Carey,
Yes.
Delegate Jackson,
Yes.
Delegate Pippi,
Sure.
Delegate Mouts,
No.
Delegate Wilson,
Yes.
Delegate Impalaria,
No.
Delegate Branch,
Yep.
Delegate Valderrama,
Aye.
Delegate Walker,
Yes.
Delegate Chi,
Yes.
Delegate Adams,
No.
Delegate Aaron's,
Yes.
Delegate Fennell's excused, Delegate Charkoudian,
Yes.
Delegate Howard,
Yes.
Delegate Crosby,
No.
and Delegate Watson.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. So that was 762. All right,
Mr.
let's
Chair,
try. Yes.
may I request that we do House Bill 972? I have to go down to appropriations for their voting session on the essential worker
Yep.
bill.
972.
Okay, House Bill 972 is Delegate C Branch's bill about the disposition of trust money in the real estate context. There's an amendment from the sponsor that makes a number of changes to the bill. And then there's also an amendment that the chairman asked me to prepare that instead establishes a work group to study the the way that those funds would be distributed.
Is there a motion on the?
Motion, move the amendment.
Which
Which
one?
amendment?
Move the chairman, the Economic Matters Committee amendment.
Yes.
Second.
That's the work group amendment, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, nay. We don't need the others, right?
Correct.
All right.
Thank you.
Is there a
Move the
motion?
bill
on
as
the
amended.
Second.
Moved and seconded. The realtors are with us or they supported the amendment, correct?
Correct.
The amended bill, okay. Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
Delegate Brooks,
Yes.
Delegate Fisher,
No.
Delegate Queen,
Yes.
Delegate Turner,
Yes.
Delegate Rogers,
Yes.
Delegate Carey,
Yes.
Delegate Jackson,
Yes.
Delegate Pippi,
No.
Delegate Mouts,
No.
Delegate Wilson,
Yes.
Delegate Impalaria,
No.
Delegate Branch,
Yep.
Delegate Valderrama,
Aye.
Delegate Walker,
Yep.
Delegate Chi,
Yes.
Delegate Adams,
No.
Delegate Aaron's,
Nope.
Delegate Fennell is excused. I don't know why I can't remember that. Delegate Charkoudian,
Yes.
Delegate Howard,
No.
Delegate Crosby,
Yes.
and Delegate Watson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Do you have anything else, Laura? All right. Don't let them screw up our product.
All if you need, the cavalry. Delegate Wilson will be there.
And he's willing to stay as late as they need. All right. Thanks,
So the-
Laura.
Laura can
Thank you,
deal with it.
Laura.
House Bill 1328.
House Bill 1328 from Delegate Feldmark. This is the joint trenching bill that goes along with the digital connectivity bill that we had from Delegate Learman, who just passed third reading. There are amendments in your packet. There are a couple of things that this bill did as it came in that are no longer necessary, in fact, conflict with what we did with House Bill 97. So I've come up with some amendments that will cut down the bill somewhat. So what's left of it, and these are the amendments from Chair Economic Matters Committee. We take out the stuff dealing with a preamble and setting up a separate connectivity fund, and instead, in the new subtitle in the Housing Community Development article on broadband, we say that a county or municipality may adopt by ordinance or resolution locally appropriate policies to advance the progress of infrastructure, et cetera. And we make sure this does not apply in the Washington Suburban Sanitary District because they have to be excluded from it. Then in the transportation article, the current section dealing with joint trenching activities by MDOT, the new language from the bill adds that local governments, as well as the various state agencies, can regulate joint trenching, and they have to if they set up a fee, they have to do so charging a broadband provider a fee on reasonable financial terms, as opposed to whatever they feel like. And then revenues generated from fees charged by MDOT have to go to the three funds that were set up in the other bill, and revenues generated from fees charged by a unit of local government shall be used to improve broadband access and adoption within that jurisdiction. On or before January of next year, the MDOT, consulting with broadband providers, MACO and MML, has to adopt regs for procedures for doing joint trenching. And again, this whole thing is excluded. Anything in the Washington Suburban Sanitary District is excluded. There is uncodified language added saying that to the extent practicable, the state shall use appropriated federal funding for the purpose of improving broadband access and adoption. And because we passed 97, we've also made this contingent on, we've made the provisions that go into the new housing article provision contingent on the passage of either Senate Bill 66 or House Bill 97, which are the digital broadband bills. Those are the amendments.
Move the amendments.
Second, Delegate Aaron's.
Just a real quick question. Who has control of the money?
Under the other bill, there are two different people who are in charge of the money. The new funds, the inclusivity fund and the connectivity fund, are being controlled by DHCD. However, the rural funds, those that are and remain under House Bill 97 in the Rural Broadband Connectivity Fund are under the control of the Rural Broadband Coordination Board, which, as you know, is principally made up of the tri-county councils. And they retain their disbursement authority under 97.
Okay, what about under this? That stays that way?
Correct. This doesn't change that.
What about future funding? Where does that come in? Rural broadband keeps the funding they currently have. What about future funding coming into that group?
Under 97 that was already passed, that stays the same. Here, what this says is any funds that are generated by MDOT have to be split equally among the three funds.
What? Oh boy.
This says, sorry, revenues generated from fees charged by the department, meaning MDOT, shall be evenly distributed across funds designed for investment in broadband infrastructure. Those are the funds that MDOT charges for joint trenching. If a locality charges funds, that money stays within the locality.
Okay. All right, thanks. I think that clears me.
Delegate Fisher.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Bob, broadband, since it's trenching, I guess broadband in this bill is defined as wired broadband?
Yes.
Thank you.
Delegate Mouts.
Right now, when those funds are generated through state highway, where do they go?
At this point, I think they stay in highway. So this is actually making sure that you get some funds for the three funds, the one that the Rural Broadband Coordination Board deals with, as well as the other two new funds that DHCD deals with. with the Office of Statewide Broadband actually is the dispersing authority for the other two. But that's moved over into DHCD.
Okay, thank you. That was my question.
Yep.
Anyone else? If not, so we're on the amendment. We moved in
On
second.
the amendments, right?
Yeah. All in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Move the bill as amended.
Okay. I would note that I have corresponding amendments prepared for the Senate bill, but we don't have a revised fiscal note for that bill yet. Once that's done, we can put those on as well. The same thing for 66.
For Senate Bill 66, or yeah, is that
Yeah,
it?
for both of them. The Senate Bill 66 is 97. The other one, as I say, we'll take that up when we've got the fiscal note ready.
So
I apologize for introducing. We're doing just the House bill this time.
Okay. Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
Delegate Brooks,
Yes.
Delegate Fisher,
No.
Delegate Queen,
Yes.
Delegate Turner,
Yes.
Delegate Rogers,
Yes.
Delegate Carey,
Yes.
Delegate Jackson,
Yes.
Delegate Pippy.
This is 1328, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Yes.
Delegate Mouts,
No.
Delegate Wilson,
Yes.
Delegate Impalaria,
No.
Delegate Branch,
Yep.
Delegate Valderrama,
Aye.
Delegate Walker,
Yep.
Delegate Chi,
Yes.
Delegate Adams,
No.
Delegate Arentz,
Nope.
Delegate Fennell,
She's still excused.
Delegate Charkoudian,
Yes.
Delegate Howard,
Yes.
Delegate Crosby,
Yes.
and Delegate Watson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Yeah, we still ain't here. Senate Bill 31, please.
Senate Bill 31. You may recall we had House Bill 397 from Delegate Learman. This is the one that talks about third-party suppliers and those who are on state support, OHEP for electric and gas. And what we're doing, the amendment, there should have been an amendment in your packet, but it's not there, conforms to the House bill. What the Senate bill did is to take, and they ended up after, bless you, a good deal of mess on the Senate floor. They adopted what was mostly the House bill, but they put together a rather clunky and very expensive educational piece. So what we'll do is conform the Senate bill to the House bill and send it back the way we cleaned it up.
So we need an amendment. So we need the amendment to do that.
Correct.
So move the amendment to conform it to the House bill.
Second.
All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Did you have a question, Delegate Arentz? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do. It just appears as if they kind of changed a bit since we did that. Is there a chance we could hold this so we could take a better look at what they did and what we're going to do?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
What was the
All
bill
right.
number?
31.
Senate 31, House 397.
The amendment that we adopted that hold it, put it back to the posture of the House bill.
Correct.
Got it. All right, we'll take that one up. Well, you know what? While I'm thinking about it, guys, check your thing daily. I'm anticipating voting every day. Shouldn't be long, but to keep the flow of work moving, we'll do a little bit every day. Senate Bill 83.
Senate Bill 83 is identical to House Bill 298 is passed by the House.
Move favorable.
Second.
Moved and seconded for favorable. Madam Vice Chair,
Yes.
Delegate Brooks,
Yes.
Delegate Fisher,
Nope.
Delegate Queen,
Yes.
Delegate Turner,
Yes.
Delegate Rogers,
Yes.
Delegate Carey,
Yes.
Delegate Jackson,
Yes.
Delegate Pippy,
No.
Delegate Mouts,
Nope.
Delegate Wilson,
Yep.
Delegate Impalaria,
No.
Delegate Branch,
Yep.
Delegate Valderrama,
Aye.
Delegate Walker, Delegate Walker,
We lost Delegate Howard.
Walker.
Sorry, Delegate Walker. Walker.
All right.
Howard
Delegate
is here.
Walker, Delegate Walker's excused. Delegate Chi,
Yes.
Delegate Adams,
No.
Delegate Aaron's,
Nope.
Delegate Fennell is excused. Delegate Charcudian,
Yes.
Delegate Howard,
No.
Delegate Crosby,
Yes.
and Delegate Watson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Last one is Senate Bill 856.
Senate Bill 856 is identical to House Bill 298 from Delegate Howard. Sorry. Senate House Bill 842 from Delegate Howard. Sorry. My
Move
apologies.
favorable.
Second.
Moved and seconded for favorable on Senate Bill 856. Does anyone wish to be recorded in opposition to Senate Bill 856? If not, is Delegate Walker present? All right, Delegate Walker's excused, Delegate Fennell is excused. All others are present and voting aye. Motion carries. And that's a wrap. Thank you all
All right.
very much. We'll see how things go. We got bill hearings tomorrow, actually.
Correct.
Ooh.
And three of us, three of you have a joint bill hearing in ECM, sorry, in ENT today at 1:30. Delegate Queen, Delegate Howard, and Delegate Brooks.
Depending on how things play out tomorrow on the floor, because of the way it's going to be designed, the hearing may end up getting pushed back. Well, until we get off the floor, I won't say push back. Till we get off the floor, it could be a potentially. But that's that. We'll see how it goes if we do any voting after bill hearings. We'll see how that goes. But thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Yes.
Mr. Chair, can I ask a
Yes.
question?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell me, did you excuse me on a couple of,
Yes.
before I
Yes.
got back?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, you didn't
All
get
the ones you weren't here for, you
the
were
message,
excused.
but you didn't get my message, okay? I sent the message. Okay, so I missed only two, right?
Yes, ma'am. You were excused on all the ones you missed.
Okay, did they pass?
Yes.
Yes, that's all that matters. Okay, thank you.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks.
See you tomorrow.